My brother texted, "Your son didn't earn a Disney trip." I agreed, then took my son on a $15,000 VIP Disney experience while they waited in line. You know that feeling when your blood runs cold, but your hands are shaking with pure, molten rage? That's exactly where I was, stuck in Miami traffic, watching sweat drip down my coffee cup, when my phone buzzed. It was my brother, Mark. And the message? "Your son can't come to Disney with us." Just like that. A cold, hard punch to the gut that stole my breath. I stared at my phone, trying to make sense of it. "Your son can't come to Disney with us." The light turned green, but I just sat there. Horns blared behind me, a chorus of angry drivers, but I barely registered it until a BMW laid on its horn long enough to jolt me out of my daze. I managed to pull over, my heart hammering, and I just had to reread it. And then, the kicker, our kids saved their birthday money. "Yours didn't earn this." Twice. 3 times. The words blurred, then snapped back into focus. Asterisk our kids. Yours asterisk I looked up, through the windshield. Late afternoon Miami sun, strip malls, palm trees, someone arguing with a gas pump. Normal life, happening all around me. And I was sitting there, being told my kid, my Daniel, hadn't earned a trip he'd been dreaming about for months. My hands started shaking, not from the coffee, but from this hot, tight feeling in my chest. That raw, primal feeling right before you either completely lose your mind or manage to lock it all down. I didn't lose it. Not yet. But man, it was close. So, let me tell you a bit about myself. I'm Liam, 39, a taxi driver here in Miami. Divorced, got one incredible kid, Daniel, who's 16. We've got this small 2-bedroom place in Little Havana that, no matter what, always smells like onions are frying. Honestly, even when we haven't touched a single one. My life isn't glamorous, but it's ours. I've been the responsible one in my family since I was barely out of my teens, probably around 20. My parents are up in Orlando, living off my dad's half-failed contractor pension. Then there's my brother, Mark, 37. He's the suburban hero, got his marketing job, a minivan, and 2 kids who always look perfectly coordinated. And me? I'm here. Working nights, working weekends, my car's transmission sounds like a chain smoker climbing a flight of stairs. But somehow, I'm still the one everyone calls when they need a hand. You know the drill, just this once, Liam. Except just this once became a running joke. It looked like $600 to keep my parents' lights on last summer. $1,200 for Mark's property tax surprise in March. Another few hundred here, 100 there, always for kids' activities, which inevitably meant my niece's private soccer camp, never anything for Daniel. A few years back, they even talked me into opening a family emergency savings account. My mom, hand over her heart, swore, "We'll all contribute, Liam. So no one ever drowns alone." Spoiler alert, guess who was the only one actually contributing? Me. I'd funnel in $200-300 a month whenever I could, watching that balance slowly, steadily creep up. Past 10 grand, then 12, then 18. My mom, bless her heart, tossed in $50 once. Mark? Not a single penny. But they still, with a straight face, called it our cushion. And through all of this, Daniel? He's always been the quiet kid in the corner. The one who shows up to every family birthday with store-bought brownies because I'm usually out driving until midnight. The one they forget to tell about Cousin's Day until the morning of, or sometimes, not at all. Last Christmas, my parents sent each grandkid a $100 gift card. Daniel got $20 cash, stuffed in a plain envelope. It must have been a mistake, my mom said when I called, "We'll make it up to him." They didn't. And I let it slide. I let all of it slide. Because that's what you do for family, right? You tell yourself they don't mean it. You tell yourself you're overreacting. You tell yourself, next time will be different, then Disney came up. Oh, Disney. It started in the family group chat about 3 months before school let out. Let's do something big this year. Mom chirped. Before the kids get too old. Grandma and Grandpa want everyone at Disney. Mark, naturally, jumped in first. "We'll drive over. The kids have been saving their birthday money. They'll be so excited." My sister-in-law spammed the chat with castle emojis. My dad sent his classic thumbs up. Me? I hesitated. Gas. Hotel. Food. Tickets. A day off work when I'd earn absolutely nothing. I did the mental math, same as always. That night, Daniel whispered to me, "Dad, we can't afford Disney." He said it so quietly, like if he said it too loud, it would become undeniably true. "We'll figure something out," I told him. Because he never asked for much. And the way his eyes lit up, just at the idea of riding Space Mountain with his cousins? That image burned itself into my brain. I knew, somehow, I had to make it happen. So Daniel, my kid, did exactly what Mark's kids were supposedly doing. He started saving. He landed a part-time job bagging groceries at the store 6 blocks from our apartment. Florida doesn't exactly have a high minimum wage for a 16-year-old, so it was $8 an hour. He worked evenings and weekends, coming home smelling like raw meat and floor cleaner. And almost every single dollar went into an old cigar tin on his dresser. "Take some for yourself," I kept telling him. He'd say, "I'm buying something I actually want." Once a week, we'd count it together. 20 smoothed out and stacked, 5s lined up, coins clinking into an old pickle jar. After 2 months, he'd saved $530. Barely enough for a ticket, maybe one day of food. Meanwhile, I was picking up extra airport runs, working even later. That family emergency fund just sat there, mocking me every time I opened my banking app. $18,372 and change. I thought about using it. That's what it was for, right? And the emergency. Then my dad called. "Liam, listen," he started, that tone already in his voice. "You know the one, that I've practiced this speech tone. Your brother's kids have really sacrificed for this trip. They've saved everything. Mark and Lisa are so proud. I swear I could practically hear the halos hovering over their heads." "That's great," I said, and I meant it, if it was even true. "There's just one thing," he continued. "We need everyone to cover their share of the rental house. Since you're single, we thought you could take the extra room cost. It comes out to about $1,700 for the week. That's nothing compared to what Mark's kids have done." I looked at my own account balance. Rent due next week. Insurance. Gas. Food. "I can't do $1,700, I said, my voice tight. I told Mom I could maybe do $300 or $400 total. Silence. Then, the sigh. That disappointed dad exhale I'd been hearing since I was 12. "Well," he said, "Mark's already booked the house. We can't leave them holding the bag." And like a complete, utter idiot, I caved. I transferred $800 to Mark. Half of what he wanted, but twice what I could safely spare. "Thanks, man," he texted back. "You're a lifesaver." I figured that was it. Painful, but done. Daniel and I would sleep on a pull-out or an air mattress. We'd make it work, like we always did. We always had to. And then came that afternoon. The one in my cab, the red light, and Mark's text. "Your son can't come to Disney with us. Our kids saved their birthday money. Yours didn't earn this." Those words didn't just burn, they seared a hole right through me. I could have ignored it. I could have called him, screamed. I could have typed out an entire damn essay about Daniel's 6 a.m. Saturday shifts, his sore feet, the smell of floor cleaner. But instead, I did what I always did first. I checked on my kid. Daniel was in his room when I got home, still in his grocery store polo, name tag tossed on his desk. Algebra book open, but he was scrolling on his phone. "Hey," I said, leaning in the doorway. "You got a minute?" He looked up. "Yeah, what's up?" I sat on the edge of his bed, the springs groaning under me. His cigar tin sat on the nightstand, lid closed. I couldn't tell him about the text. Not yet. How was work? I asked. Fine, he shrugged. Mrs. Alvarez yelled at me because her eggs cracked. She punched the carton herself, but sure, my fault. I couldn't help but smile a little. That kid could find humor in a house fire. He went back to scrolling, then paused. Uncle Mark texted me, he said, his eyes flicking up to mine. He asked how much I've saved. My stomach dropped like a rock. What did you tell him? I said, like, 5:30. He left me on read. Daniel shrugged, trying to act like it didn't matter, but his voice had that tight, almost breaking edge to it. It's not enough, is it? I swallowed hard. We'll figure something out, I said again, and I hated how hollow, how utterly empty it sounded even to my own ears. He nodded slowly, like he didn't quite believe me, then forced a smile. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Maybe we can go to the beach instead. That's free. He meant it. That's what absolutely killed me. He was already prepping himself, mentally cushioning the blow, trying not to be disappointed. I walked back into the kitchen, phone still clutched in my hand, Mark's cruel message still glaring at me. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I could explain. I could send him a photo of Daniel's blistered hands from pushing carts. I could remind him about the $800 I'd just sent, the years of bailing them out. But explanations? Explanations are for people who don't already know the truth. Mark knew. He just didn't care. I stared at that screen for what felt like an eternity, feeling my pulse pound in my neck, in my ears, even the tips of my fingers. Then, very deliberately, I typed 2 words. Me, you're right, I hit send. The 3 dots popped up, disappeared, popped up again. Then his reply, knew you'd understand. We'll do something local with Daniel when we get back. Something local. As if Daniel was some afterthought they could just pencil in once a year, whenever it was convenient. My chest went completely cold. Ice formed in the space where my anger had been. I didn't argue. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my banking app. The family emergency savings account glared back at me. $18,372.41. Underneath, 3 names, Liam O'Connor, Patrick O'Connor, Maureen O'Connor. My name first. Their names second. My money, almost entirely. I'd been feeding that account for 3 years straight. Every extra tip, every late-night airport run. While Mark was off taking his kids on ski trips, posting family-first photos in matching pajamas, I was here, scraping by. I remembered the universal passes my parents had bought for his kids earlier that year, my mom complaining she was so broke while handing them VIP lanyards. I remembered Daniel's $20 envelope. And I remembered his face, just minutes ago, trying to protect me from feeling guilty about Disney. They had made their choice. Now, I was about to make mine. I called the bank right then, just like you'd call a friend. Thanks for calling Sun South Credit Union, this is Carla. How can I help you? Hi, I said, my voice sounding strangely calm, even to me. I need to remove co-owners from a savings account. There were questions, security checks, that bland on-hold music. I sat at our wobbly kitchen table, staring at the little chrome-filled grooves in the wood, listening to smooth jazz and the hum of the freezer. Carla came back on the line. Okay, Mr. O'Connor, I see the account. Since you're the primary, you can close it or transfer the funds today. Primary. Not backup. Not extra. Primary. Let's go with closing it, I said. Transfer the entire balance into my checking account. Just to confirm, she said, reading back the numbers. Yeah, I said. All of it. 3 minutes later, a notification pinged, deposit $18,372.41. The family account vanished from my screen. Just like that. My thumb hovered over my apps again. My brain, the old familiar voice, whispered all the usual lines, *, this is drastic. You're overreacting. They'll be furious. Maybe it really was about the kids' savings, *, then I remembered Mark's text. Our kids saved. Yours didn't earn this. That was it. No more whispers. Just a cold, clear resolve. I opened another app. The one with the familiar blue castle icon. Let me tell you, I had never booked anything this expensive in my entire life. Hotels? Sure. A cheap cruise once with my ex-wife, years ago, back when we were still pretending to like each other. But this? I was looking at a Walt Disney World VIP tour inquiry. The website had a bold red alert, 7 hours minimum. Personalized itinerary. Front-of-line access. Private guide. Starting at $700 per hour, varies by season. I did the math, just like my brother probably did when calculating his savings. 7 hours times, well, it didn't matter. We needed more than 7. I selected 10 hours. And then, here's the kicker, I chose a day that overlapped exactly with Mark's trip. The Saturday he'd been hyping up in the group chat as Magic Kingdom Day. The quote popped up. Estimated total, $15,020.84. My stomach flipped. That was more than my car was worth. More than our rent for an entire year. I thought about clearing my throat and just hanging up, closing the browser. But then I pictured Daniel. Standing on Main Street, outside the park's gates, watching his cousins ride Space Mountain. Or worse, not even invited to stand outside. If I could send thousands to keep Mark's house from sliding into foreclosure, then I could damn well spend it on the one person who had never once asked for a bailout. My hand, now perfectly steady, filled in my information, name, email, card number. A line appeared at the bottom, confirm booking. I took a deep breath, heard it catch in my own ears. Yeah, I muttered to myself. We're doing this. I tapped confirm. Another ping. Another email. Your private VIP tour has been confirmed. The rest of the money, about $3,300, sat in my checking account like a quiet backup. Not for my parents. Not for Mark. For me and Daniel. I closed my phone. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel petty. I just felt done. For the first time in years, I wasn't planning my life around what they needed. I was planning it around what my son deserved. I didn't tell Daniel right away. Partly because I was terrified I'd somehow mess it up, and partly because I just really wanted to see his face. 2 nights before we were scheduled to leave, I came home from a late shift to find him at the table, homework spread out, still in his grocery store polo. Hey, I said, dropping my keys into the bowl. You free Saturday? He snorted. Depends. You skinning me out? Very funny, I said, my heart starting to pound. This felt ridiculous. I was thinking, if you're not too busy, not earning things, maybe we could go somewhere. He froze, halfway through a math problem. What? I pulled an envelope from my backpack. Inside were the printed confirmation and park tickets. I slid it across the table. He opened it slowly, cautiously, like it might bite. His eyes scanned the logo, the dates, that phrase private VIP tour stamped in bold. Dad, he whispered, his voice barely audible. This is real. Yeah, I said. We're going to Disney. Just you and me. No cousins, no grandparents, no splitting checks. You worked really hard for this, and I've spent years paying for everybody else's fun. It's our turn. He blinked fast, then shook his head. But it's so much. We can't afford, I already paid for it, I cut in. And before you say anything, yeah, it was a lot. But you know that family emergency account I told you about? He nodded. The one for when grandma has a stroke from stress, he said, making air quotes. Yeah, I said. Turns out I was the only one paying into it. So I closed it. I shrugged. Guess the emergency finally showed up. Daniel stared at the paper, then at me. I don't deserve all this, he mumbled, his voice tight. Yes, you do, I said, each word slow and firm. You earn every good thing that comes your way, Daniel. Not because you bag groceries or save money in a tin. You earn it because you're my son. And that, for me, is more than enough. His eyes went shiny. He nodded, then looked away quickly, like he was embarrassed. Okay, he said, his voice rough. Okay. I'm gonna go pack. He disappeared into his room. A second later, I heard drawers opening, then the satisfying thud of his suitcase hitting the floor. I leaned back in my chair, and for the first time in a very long time, I let myself feel something close to pure, unadulterated joy. We drove up to Orlando on Friday night, my old taxi humming along I-95 like it was held together by prayers and duct tape. Daniel played DJ, switching between old rock songs and Disney soundtracks without warning. We sang horribly off-key to I'll Make a Man Out of You with the windows down, the humid Florida air whipping around us. We checked into a mid-range hotel off-property, nothing fancy, but clean. I barely slept, waking every hour to check my phone, the time, the confirmation email. At 7 a.m. sharp, we were in the Magic Kingdom parking lot. The sun was just painting the sky cotton candy pink over the monorail. Families in matching shirts were already lining up, stroller wheels squeaking, kids whining. Daniel stood beside me in his one nice t-shirt and a baseball cap. This doesn't feel real, he whispered. It's about to, I answered. At the VIP tour meeting spot, a woman in crisp khaki shorts and a polo walked up, holding a sign with our name. Good morning, O'Connor Party, she chirped, radiating pure Disney energy. I'm Kara, and I'll be your guide today. Daniel's eyes went wide. We get our own guide? You sure do, she smiled. 10 hours. Any park, any ride, as many times as you want. We put on our special lanyards. I felt ridiculous, and a little lightheaded. As we walked toward the gates, my phone buzzed. The family group chat. *Mom, everyone leaving the house. So excited, *Mark, Magic Kingdom Day, *Mom, where are you two sitting? Want to coordinate for photos later, *I stared at the bubble. Then I typed. Me, we're already here, Daniel looked over my shoulder. Dad, I'm not hiding it, I said quietly. 3 dots appeared. Then, *Mom, what do you mean already there? *Mark, LOL. Parking is insane, I took a photo. Daniel and me, with Kara smiling in the background, the gates right behind us. I sent it to the chat. Me, we're inside, no one responded for a full minute. Kara gently steered us toward the entrance. Ready to go in? She asked. Yeah, Daniel breathed. Let's go. Being on a VIP tour? It felt like cheating at life. Kara zipped us through back entrances, down cast member hallways, past little gates I'd never even noticed before. While the standby line for Space Mountain read 95 minutes, we walked straight on. Daniel screamed through every drop of Splash Mountain, arms up, water soaking his shirt. We rode Big Thunder Mountain 3 times in a row, just because we could. Every time I glanced at the regular lines, kids shifting from foot to foot, parents trying to hold it together in the oppressive heat, I felt a strange mix of guilt and, honestly, a quiet sense of vindication. At 11 a.m., my phone buzzed again. A photo from my mom, Mark's family at the park entrance, kids clutching their tickets, my parents stiffly smiling behind them. *Mom, here. Where are you guys? Kara, ever cheerful, pointed at Main Street. Castle photos, she asked. It's less crowded if we go now. I nodded. Yeah, let's do that. We walked up Main Street, the castle looming ahead, just like in all the commercials. Kara stopped us at the perfect spot, flagged down a Disney photographer, and started directing. Okay, dad and son, arms around each other, big smiles. One with the lanyards showing. Great. Now, thumbs up. As the photographer snapped, my phone buzzed again. *Mark, lines are insane. Already 45 minutes for Peter Pan. Where are you hiding? Asterisk. I looked around. And through the surging crowd, I spotted them. Mark in his baseball cap. My parents behind him. The kids bouncing around near the hubgrass. They were all squinting at their phones, turning in circles, trying to find us. Dad, Daniel hissed, following my gaze. They're right there. I see them, I said. For a second, I thought about walking over. I really did. Then I saw Mark's son tug on his sleeve, face all screwed up. Why do we have to wait so long? My nephew whined, loud enough that even over the park noise, I could hear him. Because your parents think they own other people's time, I thought. I turned back to the photographer, wrapped an arm around Daniel's shoulders, and smiled. Let's get one more, I said. We took a dozen shots. Goofy ones, serious ones. One where we both pretended to hold the castle in our hands. When we were done, I pulled up the family chat. I picked the best one. Daniel and me, Mickey between us, the castle soaring in the background. No lines in sight, thanks to the angle. Me, found Mickey, me, hope the kids are having fun, I hit send. 5 full minutes passed. We grabbed Dole Whip. Rode Pirates. Cut past another 2 hours worth of people for the haunted mansion. Finally, Mark replied. Asterisk Mark, wow. Private tour. Seriously, asterisk mom, Liam? Is that, are you with a guide, asterisk dad, how could you waste money like that? Asterisk my thumb hovered. Waste, I thought about the years of loans never repaid. The Christmas I didn't buy myself new work shoes so I could send them an extra $500 for their emergency. I typed, asterisk me, I'm spending my money on my kid. You should try it sometime, asterisk I locked my phone and shoved it into my pocket. Everything okay? Daniel asked. Perfect.